Warning signs: you have high insulin that can save your life. You're hungry all the time. You're dragging yourself through the day, and you're fighting a losing battle with belly fat. It's easy to just write this off, right? It's part of getting older, or my metabolism is just slowing down. But what if those weren't just random frustrations? What if they were urgent, flashing warning signs from your body, trying to alert you to a silent problem that's quietly gaining momentum? A problem that, if you ignore it, could lead directly to some of the biggest health disasters of our time, like type 2 diabetes and even certain cancers. This isn't about scaring you. It's about empowering you. It's about learning to listen to your body's whispers before they turn into screams. Because understanding these warnings is the single most important step you can take to get your energy back, get your body back, and protect your long-term health. Today, we're going to break down the critical signs of high insulin that could quite literally save your life. We'll uncover what your body is trying to tell you, why it's happening, and the exact steps you can take to fix it. Starting now, the gatekeeper. What is insulin and why is it so important? Before we get into the warning signs, we have to understand the main player in this story, insulin. When people hear insulin, they usually think of diabetes. And while there's a connection, insulin's job in your body is so much bigger and starts way before diabetes diagnosis ever enters the picture. Think of your body as a massive city with trillions of houses, where every house is a cell. Each house needs energy to keep the lights on and to function. That energy comes from glucose, the sugar you get from food, especially carbs. When you eat, food is broken down, and glucose enters your bloodstream like a fleet of delivery trucks ready to fuel the city. But there's a catch. The glucose can't just barge into the cells. Every cell has a locked door. This is where insulin shines. Insulin, a hormone made by your pancreas, is the master key. After you eat, your pancreas releases insulin, which travels to your cells, fits into a special lock called an insulin receptor, and opens the door. This lets glucose move from your blood into the cell, where it's used for instant energy. It's a pretty brilliant system. It keeps your blood sugar levels in that perfect, stable range, not too high, not too low. When there's extra glucose that your cells don't need right away, insulin acts like a diligent warehouse manager. It takes this extra glucose to your liver and muscles to be stored as something called glycogen. Think of it like stocking up on backup batteries for later. And if those storage shelves are full, insulin directs the rest of the glucose to be converted and stored as fat. This isn't inherently bad. It's a survival mechanism designed to store energy for lean times. At its core, insulin's job is to manage your body's energy. It's a storage hormone. When this system is working like a well-oiled machine, you feel energetic, you maintain a healthy weight without a ton of effort, and you feel satisfied after you eat. Everything is in metabolic harmony. But what happens when this system starts to break down? What happens when the locks get rusty and the key doesn't work so well anymore? That's where the trouble begins. The silent scream. What is high insulin and insulin resistance? So, where does this brilliant system go wrong? We've established that insulin is the key that lets glucose into your cells. But our modern diet full of processed foods, sugary drinks, and refined carbs like white bread, pasta, and pastries creates a huge problem. Every time you eat these foods, you get a massive, rapid spike in blood sugar. Your pancreas sees this flood of sugar as an emergency and freaks out. It pumps out a tidal wave of insulin to get that sugar out of your bloodstream as fast as possible. Because high levels of glucose are toxic to your body. For a while, this Hands-on-deck approach works. The insulin does its job and your blood sugar comes back down. But if this happens over and over, day after day, your cells get sick of the constant shouting. It's like living next to an alarm that goes off every single hour. At first, you jump, but eventually, you start to tune it out. You become decent. This is exactly what happens in your body. Your cells become resistant to insulin's message. The locks on the cell doors get rusty, and the key doesn't turn as easily. This is the definition of insulin resistance. Your body, in its wisdom, has only one solution. If the key isn't working well, you must need more keys. So, your pancreas goes into overdrive, pumping out more and more and more insulin to force those stubborn cell doors open. This state is called hyperinsulinemia, literally high insulin in the blood. This is a critical and sneaky phase. For a while, maybe even years, this compensation works. Your pancreas is working double time, but it manages to keep your blood sugar levels looking normal. You go to the doctor, they check your fasting blood sugar or your HbA1c, a 3-month average, and everything looks perfect. You get a pat on the back, and you're told you're healthy, but you're not. Your body is in a state of high alert, screaming silently in a way that standard tests often miss. The high insulin is the hidden problem. The check engine light that's on even though the car is still running. This state is a ticking time bomb, the direct precursor to prediabetes and eventually type 2 diabetes. The pancreas can't keep up this frantic pace forever. When it finally gets exhausted and starts to fail, your blood sugar levels will rise, and that's when a diabetes diagnosis is finally made. But the real damage started years, or even decades, earlier, all fueled by chronically high insulin. Understanding this is key, because it means you can stop focusing only on blood sugar and start paying attention to the real culprit, high insulin. And your body gives you plenty of clues. You just have to know what they are. The warning signs your body is sending you. Your body is incredibly smart. When it's struggling with high insulin, it sends out a whole host of signals. Most people either ignore them or blame them on something else. Let's decode these signals. Warning sign 1. Constant hunger and intense cravings. Do you ever eat a full meal only to feel starving an hour or two later? Or do you get intense, uncontrollable cravings for carbs or sweets, especially in the afternoon or after dinner? This isn't a lack of willpower. It's a biological red flag of high insulin. Here's what's happening. After a high-carb meal, your body unleashes a flood of insulin. It's so effective at its job that it shoves glucose into your cells too aggressively, causing your blood sugar to crash below normal shortly after you eat. This is called reactive hypoglycemia. Your brain feels this sudden drop in fuel and hits the panic button. It sends out powerful hunger signals, demanding that you get your blood sugar back up fast. And what's the quickest way to do that? More sugar and more carbs. So you grab the cookies, the chips, or the sugary latte. You eat it, your blood sugar spikes. Another wave of insulin follows, and a few hours later, you crash all over again. This traps you in a vicious cycle of blood sugar spikes and crashes, all driven by high insulin. You feel like you're constantly thinking about food, not because you're undisciplined, but because your hormones are on a chaotic roller coaster. If you need a snack between every meal just to feel normal, that's your body screaming that your insulin is out of whack. Warning sign 2. Stubborn and growing belly fat. You exercise. You try to eat well, but that fat around your middle just refuses to leave. In fact, it might even be growing. This isn't just any fat, it's a specific kind of fat that is a direct result of high insulin. Remember, insulin is a fat storage hormone. When your liver and muscle storage tanks are full, high insulin tells your body to convert any extra energy into fat. Its favorite place to store that fat is deep inside your abdomen, wrapped around your organ. This is called visceral fat. This stuff is way more dangerous than the fat you can pinch on your arms. Visceral fat is metabolically active. It's like a rogue organ, spewing out inflammatory chemicals that mess up your metabolism even more. So, high insulin causes belly fat, which in turn makes your insulin resistance even worse. It's another dangerous feedback loop. You're basically stuck in fat storing mode. High insulin levels lock the fat inside your fat cells, making it nearly impossible for your body to burn it for energy. You could be cutting calories, but if your insulin is high, your body is biochemically programmed to store fat, not burn it. If your waistline is expanding, that's one of the most visible signs that your insulin levels are too high. Warning sign 3. Fatigue, especially after meals. Ever hit that 3 p.m. slump where you feel like you need a nap just to function? Or do you get overwhelmingly sleepy right after eating a meal heavy in carbs like pasta or rice? This post-meal crash is a classic symptom of insulin resistance. There are two things going on here. First, it's that same blood sugar roller coaster. The huge insulin surge after the meal leads to a blood sugar crash later, leaving your brain and body feeling drained and foggy. Second, and more importantly, think about your cells. They're resistant to insulin. They're struggling to get the glucose they need for energy, so even though there's plenty of fuel in your blood, it can't get into the cells where it belongs. Your body is essentially starving on a cellular level, even though you just ate. This cellular energy crisis shows up as deep physical and mental fatigue. You might feel okay when you wake up, but as you eat throughout the day, the exhaustion gets worse. You find yourself reaching for more coffee or a sugary snack just to stay awake. This isn't normal tiredness. If you consistently feel more like taking a nap than getting back to your day after a meal, it's a huge clue that your body's energy management system, run by insulin, is failing. Warning sign 4. Skin changes. Acanthosis nigricans and skin tags. Sometimes the clues are written right on your skin. Have you noticed any dark, velvety, slightly thick patches of skin in the folds of your body, like the back of your neck, your armpits, or your groin? This is a condition called acanthosis nigricans, and it's a hallmark sign of severe insulin resistance. What is happening is that chronically high levels of insulin, which is a growth hormone, can cause your skin cells to multiply way too fast. This rapid growth creates those dark, thick, velvety patches. Many people mistake it for dirt and try to scrub it off, but it has nothing to do with hygiene. It's a message from the inside out and a strong predictor of a major metabolic problem. A related sign is an increase in skin tags, those small, soft little growths of skin that often pop up on the neck and in the armpits. Just like with acanthosis nigricans, this is thought to be caused by the growth-promoting effects of high insulin. If you're noticing more of these skin changes, don't just write them off as a cosmetic annoyance. Your skin is giving you a visible warning that your insulin levels are too high. Warning sign 5. High blood pressure. Hypertension. High blood pressure is extremely common, and most people just blame it on age or stress. They take a pill to manage it, without ever asking why their blood pressure is high to begin with. For a huge number of people, the root cause is high insulin. The connection is powerful. First, high insulin levels make your kidneys retain sodium and water. This increases the total volume of blood in your arteries, which directly raises the pressure. Second, high insulin contributes to the stiffening and narrowing of your arteries. It promotes the growth of muscle cells in the artery walls, making them rigid. Think about pushing water through a stiff, narrow pipe versus a wide, flexible hose. The pressure is much higher in the narrow pipe. When nitric oxide is low, your vessels stay constricted, which also drives up pressure. Getting your insulin under control could be the key to getting your blood pressure under control. To warning sign 6. Abnormal cholesterol and triglyceride levels. If your doctor tells you that you have high triglycerides and low HDL, the good cholesterol. This specific pattern is a classic sign of metabolic trouble driven directly by high insulin. Let's start with triglycerides. These are fats in your blood. When you eat more calories than you need, especially from sugar and refined carbs or liver packages, the excess energy into triglycerides. So, high triglycerides are usually not a sign of eating too much fat. They're a sign of eating too many foods that spike your insulin. When your HDL is low, this cleanup system is broken, allowing plaque to build up. This deadly combo, high triglycerides and low HDL, is a huge red flag that insulin resistance is wreaking havoc on your metabolism. Doctors often look at the ratio of triglycerides to HDL, and a high ratio is considered a powerful indicator of insulin resistance. Polycystic ovary syndrome, or PCOS, is one of the most common endocrine disorders in women, and at its very core, it is deeply connected to insulin resistance. Here's how. High levels of insulin can signal the ovaries to produce too many androgens, which are male hormones like testosterone. While some androgens are normal in women, the excessive amounts seen in PCOS throw the menstrual cycle out of whack. This can lead to the classic symptoms of PCOS: irregular or missed periods, infertility, hormonal acne, especially on the jawline. And the growth, of course, dark hair on the face, chest, or back. It's a vicious cycle. Insulin resistance causes high insulin, which drives high androgens, and the high androgens and related weight gain can then make insulin resistance even worse. If you're a woman struggling with these symptoms, it is absolutely critical to look beyond just the gynecological side and get your metabolic health checked. We've covered how high insulin can lead to obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. This isn't a vague connection. It's based on biology. Remember, insulin is a growth hormone. In healthy tissue, that's a good thing. But when cancer cells are present, high insulin is like pouring gasoline on a fire. Cancer cells are greedy for glucose and use it to fuel their rapid, uncontrolled growth. Insulin essentially force feeds these hungry cancer cells. Recent research has highlighted a chilling connection between high insulin and pancreatic cancer. A 2023, study published in the journal Cell Metabolism found that excessive insulin levels can directly overstimulate the cells in the pancreas, leading to chronic inflammation. Over time, this inflammation can cause cells to become precancerous, setting the stage for one of the deadliest forms of cancer. The research showed that high insulin directly contributes to the start of pancreatic cancer, and the links aren't just with the pancreas. High insulin and a related hormone called insulin-like growth factor 1, IGF-1, have been strongly implicated in increasing the risk and progression of several other cancers, including breast, colon, and prostate cancer. This is why the warning signs we've talked about are so important. They aren't just about your weight or your energy. They are your body's early alert system for a condition that can fuel the growth of one of the most feared diseases of our time. The incredible news is that high insulin and insulin resistance are almost always reversible with the right lifestyle changes. You have the power to turn this ship around. Here's your action plan. Step 1. How to know for sure testing. While the symptoms are strong clues, blood tests are the only way to know for certain. You need to be your own advocate and ask your doctor for more specific tests. Fasting insulin. This is the most direct test, while lab ranges can vary. Many functional medicine practitioners suggest that an optimal fasting insulin level should be in the low single digits. Levels creeping up into the double digits can be an early sign of trouble. HbA1c. This shows your average blood sugar over the last 3 months. A level below 5.7% is considered normal, but it's ideal for your metabolic health to be on the lower end of that normal range. Diet is the single most powerful tool you have for lowering insulin. The goal is simple: get off the blood sugar roller coaster. Sugary drinks, candy, pastries, white bread, pasta, and most breakfast cereals are what drive the huge insulin spikes. Get in the habit of reading labels. Sugar is hidden everywhere. Prioritize fiber. Fiber slows down sugar absorption, which prevents those spikes. Fill your plate with non-starchy vegetables like leafy greens, broccoli, and bell peppers, and include low-sugar fruits like berries. Embrace healthy fats. Healthy fats have very little effect on insulin and help you feel full and satisfied. Think avocados, olive oil, nuts, seeds, and fatty fish. Get enough protein. Like fat, protein helps stabilize blood sugar and keeps hunger at bay. Try food sequencing. This simple trick is incredibly powerful. Eat your food in a specific order. Start your meal with your fiber veggies. Then, eat your protein and fat, and save your carbohydrates for last. This creates a buffer in your stomach that dramatically flattens the blood sugar curve. Immediate glucose uptake. When you exercise, your muscles can pull glucose from your blood for energy without needing insulin. Studies have shown that even a short walk for 10 to 20 minutes after a meal can significantly lower your post-meal blood sugar response. Long-term sensitivity. Building muscle through resistance training is one of the best long-term strategies. More muscle gives you more places to store glucose, acting like a glucose sponge that soaks up sugar from your blood. Aim for a mix of regular movement, like walking, and 2 to 3 resistance training sessions per week. Step 4. Master your stress and sleep. Chronic stress and bad sleep are huge drivers of insulin resistance. This constant stream of sugar requires more insulin to manage. They are not just a normal part of getting older. They are your body's check engine light, begging you to look under the hood. You can quiet the hormonal noise, get your energy back, and take control of your health for good. This is about so much more than losing weight. It's about preventing diabetes, protecting your heart, and drastically lowering your cancer risk. It is truly about saving your own life. If you're ready to take the next step and learn about the specific foods that can start healing your metabolism right now, I highly recommend you watch our next video, The Top 10 Foods That Fight Insulin Resistance. We'll show you exactly what to add to your plate today. And if you found this information valuable, please subscribe and click the notification bell. We are dedicated to bringing you health information that empowers you to become the master of your own well-being. Thank you for investing this time in yourself. Now, go take action.